Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Chimera Elite, and today I'm going to start a new series that focuses more on the army building side of Dogs of War rather than the actual just battle. Just because all the games I've played up that I've uploaded haven't really addressed that, and I kind of want to get into why some units are good and why some units are bad. Kind of the thing that sparked this whole thing for me was a comment on one of my videos that talked about the Guardian of Equilibrium compared to the Crossbowman and that AP cost. I'm like, that's actually really interesting. Why would something that's so good, like the Guardian of Equilibrium, be the same price within maybe a 5 to 10 AP range? Why would that be so close to something which is comparatively not really good at all, aka a crossbowman, a cross wolf? Why would they be so close? Maybe there's a balance issue, maybe not. But for right now, I'm just gonna focus on the heroes. And being a Wolfen player, naturally, I'm gonna start out with the Worg. Now, the Worg is kind of an interesting hero in that he's not like Ryscar. He's not mobile at all. He's not really the damaging mobile, just there's a problem here, I'm gonna run in and hit it. He's more of the I'm gonna walk into the middle of this group and take aggro away from everyone else so they can deal with that. And considering the fact that he doesn't get any penalties for being surrounded, which is huge, so he can be in the middle and he can actually do a decent job of surviving. Now, he's not going to do the same job as that lion here, and I forget his name, but the Guardian of the Lion, the guy who is probably the most tanky thing I've ever seen. He has huge parry, normal health, and he's tough as hell. So it's really, really hard to hurt him regardless of who I'm running at the time. But the thing with Carnifex, and I forget his name, the thing about the Worg is that he does pretty good damage. He's got a very interesting galvanizing effect, which actually gives a bonus to the accuracy and essentially how good a unit is. And by good, I mean, can they carry out this attack, and will that attack actually fucking hit? That's one of the things with, at least in the larger armies, your Fang Warriors have to deal with, because they're not all that accurate. I think they have an accuracy of 9 or 10. That bonus is huge and makes sure that those 2 hits are put to good use. Now, along with his howl comes the fear effect 12. Now, it's not so much that, fear effect 12 isn't going to do a whole lot, and I mostly use it for the galvanizing effect, and I use it pretty much every turn, just as an added bonus that, hey, I'm here, I might get a fear effect off, and if I do, hey, and if I don't, I get a galvanizing effect that will benefit me anyway. But the real kicker is his fear. Now, fear has done work for me in a lot of different games, and it's a pretty good ability, especially when you combo it with the devotee of Yila's Mask of Gantar, which gives an even higher boost to his fear. It's kind of insane, but it works in really good conjunction with it. Now, this is where he kind of falls off in comparison to a lot of the other champions, in my opinion. His sweep ability, I have maybe used it once, maybe I'm just not using it correctly, but I just don't like. It's better to focus on one thing, kill it, and then go on to the next, rather than sweeping two things for a bit of damage and, kind of leaving them for everyone else to clean up. It just doesn't seem like the best idea in the world for me, and just for how I play. Maybe in a larger army it would do better, but right now that's not really what the Wolfen are all about, in my experience at least. Now, presence of the alpha doesn't really come into play a whole lot, mostly just because, sure, I face the occasional Wolfen player. I have not faced an undead Ram player in forever. And the rest of the time, I'm facing Chimeras, I'm facing Guardians of the Lion, and none of those have fear effects, so really, this is just kind of a safety in case I run into any of those, but this hasn't really come into play, although it is useful. Along with this, his passive attributes is his simple Implacable and Strategist. Both are rank 2. Strategist gives bonus on discipline rolls, and discipline rolls determine who goes first every turn, which is extremely important, especially when you're a rushdown player like me. However, occasionally rushing down might not be the best idea and I need to hold back, but that's for another video. The thing about him that doesn't necessarily really fit with me, it doesn't fit right with me, is that Implacable 2. See, the thing between him and Ryscar is his movement is 4. That gets cut in half for a pursuit movement. Ryscar has a pursuit of 7. That gets cut in half. I'm not sure if it's rounded down or not, but either way, that makes a big difference, especially with his ability. My range of my pursuit movement can take me anywhere I want. It's amazing. And with Carnifex, having Implacable 2, I guess late game might be good, but typically I can't travel far enough with his given movement speed around to actually kill anything using his Implacable 2. Honestly, I think it would be better if they took off one of the Implacables. It was just normal Implacable. He got 2 pursuit movements. I think it's 1. Hold on. Yeah, I get 1 additional pursuit movement. So instead of having at this case, 4 fucking pursuit movements, which is kind of insane, down to 3, which is far more reasonable in my opinion, if I'm doing this right in my mind, and put it into either parry or toughness, because I've had games where, alright, he's been doing pretty well, but I just take so much damage, I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, holy hell. And sometimes it's just not the best thing in the world, and I think that in order to be a more viable champion, or hero rather, he needs to be toughened up some, or just be more defensive, or hell, more damage would be even better, because it would actually allow him to put that Implacable to fucking use, or more movement speed, any one of those. But having Implacable 2 just doesn't really make sense in the overall scheme of things. Now finally, I'm going to come down to the last 2 things about him. Well, last 3 things actually. Sacred Armor, and really it's just Sacred Armor. I killed outright. It's never happened against him, it never will, but I have never once canceled damage. It's never happened, period, just flat out. In all the games that I've played, I have never not taken damage with him. Like, if you hit him, he's gonna get hurt, regardless. Now, the last 2 things I'm gonna bring up are his elixir skill, which is Rising Moon, and the abilities, the orders that he brings to the table. Now, I'm just going to quickly go over the orders. He has offensive. He pretty much has the old standbys, offensive, defensive, and natural selection, which is a pretty good, it's, in my opinion, a very good combination. However, his brutal intervention doesn't really make that much sense to me, because I can't make an order on myself, and there really aren't any other Wolfen units that are really starving, that are frontliners, that are really starving for movement. Like, for me, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to have that as his elixir order. Now, for his elixir ability, Rising Moon, okay, I get a Sacred Strike. Whoop-de-freaking do. I get a 10% chance of killing a unit outright. But that's a 10% chance to kill someone for 2 hits. And on top of that, I'm gonna riposte every attack you send my way. That's really not that big. Like, that's kind of pathetic compared to some of the other abilities that other heroes, not only in this faction, but also in the Lion and the Ram, compared to what they bring to the table in their legendary or just other heroes in general, I'm feeling that Rising Moon is woefully underpowered. Admittedly, I used Rising Moon once in a Wolfen v Wolfen battle, and it quite possibly won me the game because he attacked me with Wolfen. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was smart and I was the guy who's playing against me, I would have ignored the Worg. Now, that might sound insane, but when the Worg has this activated, if you attack with a Wolfen, I deal maybe, I don't know, 6 to 8 damage against him, maybe more. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. But I deal that much to a guy who has 60 health. He probably has less at that point, let's say 40 to 35. I bring him down to, say, I don't know, around 20. Let's just say, nice round number, 20. Item twice. I hit him back twice also. I bring him down probably below half, or if not half, I might have actually killed him. Now, the thing about this is situational. This is hugely situational. Against any other force, be it Lion or Ram, this would be and is terrible. Because as the game works right now, you take a hit, you retaliate immediately. Rising Moon doesn't change that. If I get hit once, Rising Moon makes no difference. If I get hit twice, alright, sure, I hit back twice. But other than that, it does not make a difference in most battles. It's simply a waste of elixir. And with that, that's kind of my overall impression of the Worg right now. He's woefully, in my opinion at least, underpowered. And this is kind of how he's always been, in my opinion at least. I had a Worg in the past, and I wasn't able to level him up, so I don't know exactly what a full-powered Worg is that I have catered to my exact tastes, but if you have to know, the Worg has always been at the bottom of the tier. In the past, there's been a tier of, like, how expensive a unit is. The more expensive, the better the unit is. And when you're talking about something like the Chimera's first, the Flesh Golem is second, and sorry about this, I have freaking trumpet playing in the background because that's how they do things here. And the Worg has always been last. Now that's not only last in price to buy, that's also been in AP costs. And AP cost is typically associated just flat out with usefulness and just how good you are. With this new change in the whole all heroes are the same price, it puts them on a level 8P scale, but their overall power right now, in my opinion personally, doesn't fucking add up. That's just kind of how I look at it right now. My opinion might change, considering that people were complaining about the Chimera being extremely powerful, OP, and there's a guy who admitted it. He's like, "Yeah, it's OP. I'm gonna go around one-shotting heroes as long as I can until they nerf her." It's like, hey, okay, I'm not the only one who thinks this. But they nerfed her, and in my opinion, she's still really good, but she's not crazy. But even then, I don't think that Carnifex, the Worg, doesn't stand on equal footing with either the Chimera or the Flesh Golem. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. And if you really want to see more, subscribe. I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.